This is here in this lecture I am going to discuss the problem of our second class test 2, and just like the solution of test 1, this video is also purely optional. Like, you may watch it, you may ignore it, it depends on you. However, in this test also, what I just had a glance of your performance, and I found your performance was not very good. So that is why my suggestion to you is that, if possible, just find out the solution. In a few cases, the solutions were already discussed in the problem solving video that I have uploaded, and in a few cases I have not shared the solution. I think you can always just, at least in a hopping mode, you can see this video so that you can check whether you are aware of all the solutions or not. Now, coming to the first question, this question solution were already shared with you. Like here, only the part that I have made simple is that here one additional term is added, that is of your this isolation transformer, just to make you somewhat make this question tricky, but it actually doesn't play any role or does not alter the behavior of the participating transformer. Moreover, it claims that you to neglect, or rather it instructs you to neglect the magnetizing branch effect of participating transformer. So basically the whole problem boils down to a very conventional transformer problem. Now here what would happen, the transformer, in order to find out the circulating current, what we need to know, we just need to know the voltage. So what about the voltage? How we can figure it out? Let me just follow it step by step. Here, what is the value of our load admittance? I am going to apply this formula, like the secondary voltage V2 will be something like this. Now here in this case, as no load is connected, so y is equal to 0. So we can simply drop this y, and this is what remains for our calculation. So if you do this calculation, what you will get by doing this conversion, like to actual value, the things that you will get it something like just a minute, the solution is not readily available. Let me just write one by one, or I may ask you to calculate, because that will save some of our time and energy, and I am not very not a very reliable person in terms of finding out answer of numerical calculation using calculator. So it is always better that you calculate it by yourself. These are the values I am copying from a book from which I have taken the problem, but unfortunately the book doesn't have this mode of problem. So it is like means I have to rely on so what this value will be. This is the value of your like if you calculate this, then you will get the value V2, right? And once you figure out V2, then if you find out the current that is flowing through one branch, that will give you the idea about the circulating current. What I am trying to tell you, like here, if we write that I2 will be how much? So whatever value you will get, sorry, not I2, rather we need to figure out the value of circulating current, that is okay. For that your calculation of V2 is also not needed. So basically I have done an extra step, since our objective is not to calculate the V2. So this part can be simply dropped, and what we can figure out from this is V1 by A1 divided by so this will give us so the circulating current will become anyway. So what we can do here, we can do one like for your information, I can share the calculation method. Like if you consider the per unit impedance of the first transformer as your base value, like if you consider your 500 kVA and 500 volt is your base values, then obviously the first transformer is in direct form, like however for the second transformer that is having 250 kVA 500 volt, you need to convert its impedance. So that impedance which was there as voltage remains same, so no need to include the voltage term. Had the voltage terms being different, then they would affect it in a like a square manner. Why so? Because the base impedance we calculate using this formula. That what makes the difference. Now as both are 500, so we do not need to include in numerator and denominator both 500 square will appear. So this becomes how much? And therefore if you add these two, 0.01 and 0.02 gives us 0.04, and accordingly 0.04 and 0.12 gives us 0.16, right? So circulating current is this much in per unit value, and if you calculate its actual value, you should get something like sorry. So I have copied this from book, but you may check this from your means own calculation, that whether whatever I have written is correct or not. So let us move to the second problem, right? So in this problem here we are discussing a single phase 100 kVA 250 volt by 500 volt two winding transformer consume 2.8 kilowatt while supplying a purely inductive load of 100 kVAr. So it is very evident from the statement from these two lines that when it is delivering 100 kVAr, that means it is actually operating with full load loss, and as it is 100 kVAr, so output power is 0. Therefore whatever power is being consumed from the source, that is totally that power has been consumed just to feed the or just to serve the transformer internal losses. So basically this 2.8 kilowatt is your transformer core loss plus full load copper loss, right? Now when we reconfigure it, everything remains same. Only thing that will change is that the transformer, now the transformer kVA will change. And what would be that change? I have already discussed solution of this kind of problem, and you can figure it out. The new transformer kVA rating would become how much? Like 100 to 50. So basically it can consume a current up to this much, like 100 by 250, and like there it can deliver a current like the primary side current is how much? 40, and secondary side current will be how much in two winding configuration? So basically it will give us like 200 ampere. So when we reconfigure it, the output, the kVA will become how much? kVA will become 750 right. So this much will be the value. Now if this much is the value, then what changes would take place in terms of efficiency when we connect it as an auto transformer? It will be like unity power factor. So 150 into cos 0 divided by 150 into cos 0 plus 2.8 into 100%. So once you complete the calculation, you will get the efficiency of the transformer in this condition, right? So here it is a simple problem that how a two winding transformer should be connected to form an auto transformer to maximum kVA rating. Let us consider this example only, 100 kVA, 250 volt, 500 volt. So let me draw all the four configurations that is possible with this 2-step up and 2-step down configuration. So first let me draw the 2-step up condition. Of course, here we are considering the polarity is such that these two voltages act together to give us 750 volt here and 500 volt here. Another configuration could be something like this. These are the two-step down configuration. Now go to step up. So what we have in our step up configuration, it's something like step down. Now let us consider the cases one by one, So at first here in that two step up configuration, try to understand. For this we have already found out it kVA will be how much? 150 kVA. However, here if we analyze how much we will get, here this is if this delivers the full current, how much current this winding, this 250 volt winding can deliver, that is 400 ampere. So total output kVA would become something like 300 kVA. Quite interesting. And accordingly input current will also become like 600 here, and here 400, here 200, and then again here it is becoming your 600. Now what is happening here? Here 400, sorry, here 600, here 400, here 200. That's it. Similarly here if you just alter what we know basic transformer understanding, if we just alter primary secondary, that should not alter our kVA rating. So same thing is applicable here, that it will also become 150 kVA, and similarly this will also become 300 kVA. So what matters for both the cases, or how we can draw a generalization, is that the more we rely on the value of, like what is the value of inductive, like there is one factor that governs everything, that is K. Now what is that K? K is your like the ratio between primary and secondary, right? For step up it is primary by secondary, for step down it is secondary by primary. So always K becomes something less than unity. So here what we can see, that for this case if you calculate, K is 0.6666 something, and for this case it is 0.3333 something. We can show that the amount of kVA rating, and like when it is two winding transformer electrically isolated, then only inductive power transfer took place, and when we connect them together to form an auto transformer, the power rating of auto transformer with inductive transformer becomes something like followed by this formula, 1/1 minus K. So here it is very interesting to note that this case indicate what? Like K is equal to 0.666, and this gives us a ratio of what? Total kVA and inductive kVA. Try to understand this inductive kVA remains same when you connect it in two winding fashion, electrically isolated, or in auto transformer fashion. So you can't do much on that. That part of the power remains constant. Now if you somehow you can change this ratio, like the total auto transformer kVA can be something like So inductive KVA remain constant. So what is your goal should be? Your goal should make this K large. And how it can be large? When the high voltage, like when we are considering the two winding transformer, then we should think about connecting that, like the terminals of high voltage transformer should be used for high voltage winding should be used either for input when we are considering step up transformer, or as output when we are considering step down transformer. Why so? The answer is very simple. Like here you can see that what happens when we are talking about this, like this transformer. What is the advantage of auto transformer? How it can handle higher amount of power rating? The answer lies, or the hidden key is that the amount of conductively transferred kVA. So it should be your goal to make conductively transferred kVA as much as possible rather than inductively transferred kVA. Now, when you connect the low voltage winding, and like the low voltage winding is used either to like collect the power or to deliver the power, what you are doing actually, you are relying more on inductive mode rather than conductive mode. Now, the natural question comes in your mind, sir, that generally low voltage winding is carrying higher amount of current. So why are you saying so? The answer is very simple, that low voltage winding, when you connect it with the supply, it can consume the amount of how to make you understand, like see here, if you see this, then it will become somewhat clearer to you. Like here, the amount of conductively transferred kVA becomes how much? It becomes 200 kVA. Why so? If you consider that here, this in this winding, it is 200 and this is 400. Now see that this 400, it's going here. So basically the 200 kVA is transferred in conducting mode. The 100 kVA either way remain constant, whether you allow this one to collect the input or this one. And the same is true for this step down. It remains same. We know that like if we alter the side of the transformer, that should not alter the kVA rating, and that same is true for auto transformer also. So what should be the answer? The answer should be that either way, the high terminal of high voltage winding must be utilized either as input in case of step up or as output in case of step down transformer, right? So this is the next question, in which it is asked that how a two winding transformer should be connected as an auto transformer to ensure minimum amount of short circuit current. So in this context, we have to keep it two things in mind that are common with normal two winding transformer as well as in case of auto transformer. Those things are uh, first of all, every transformer when it operates in step down mode always draws a small amount of short circuit current in comparison with the step up mode, and that is why we generally conduct short circuit test in high voltage side. We short the low voltage side and connect our supply with the high voltage side. So similarly, if we want to minimize the short circuit loss, obviously the auto transformer should be operated in step down mode. Now coming to the another concept that is important is that for a given voltage, the transformer which is having a smaller kVA will draw small means comparatively lesser amount of short circuit current, but the transformer which is having higher rating will always draw high amount of short circuit current. So if we keep these two things together, then what conclusion we can draw here? First, that the auto transformer must be configured in step down mode. Secondly, the auto transformer must be connected in such a way that they should have minimum amount of kVA. So if we want to realize that, the configuration will be something like this. So that will always ensure small amount of short circuit current flowing through your transformer, right? So here is the next question. Just a minute, let me just. So here the two transformers having following details: 2.2 kVA, like identical kVA and voltage ratio, having identical resistance and reactance values for the series branch. If the full load efficiencies of the transformer are 92% and 96%, probably these two transformers are made up of different core. This is obvious conclusion, because otherwise if the two transformers are having same series branch, what is it? Yeah. We cannot relate otherwise these two lines, like if they are not same, then they must have the only way they can offer different value of efficiency is that the two transformers are made up of different core, and that is why the first transformer core is it seems the core is made up of poor quality steel, or lamination is not good. That is why the magnetizing loss is more in the first transformer, and that is why it offers poor efficiency. However, as both the transformers are identical in all aspects, so while talking about load sharing, they will share exactly same amount of load, like 2.2 kVA of load. Both of them will take 2.2 kVA each on them. So basically the efficiency of this combination will become an average of these two, because the loading is going to load both the participating transformer equally, and they will be loaded as per their full load condition. So both of them will start operating with their full load efficiency value, and the combination efficiency will become average of these two efficiency. Therefore it is 94%, right? So what is the problem here? Although it's a bit hazy, the image quality is not very good, but still we can understand this. If you are not clear, then you can go back to that form and get the image, clear image from there. Like here what is written, that RA some value is given, then we are having X1 PU and RE2 and XE2. So what I can so suddenly it got some problem, so here let me write it clearly so that you can see it. What we are having here, RE1 is equal to 0.01, XE1 is equal to 0.04, and RE2 is equal to 0.015. All are in per unit value, so I am not writing them. So both the transformer, this one is having 250 volt by 510 volt, and this one is having 250 volt by 500 volt, quite similar to the first problem. Here we are giving 250 volt 50 hertz supply, and here we are giving 500 volt 50 hertz supply, and I asked you to actually here it is, this question is incorrect. What I asked, that I asked about the circulating current flowing through this combination. So the answer will be circulating current can only flow, try to understand, when one transformer secondary side voltage will be different from the secondary side voltage of the other transformer. Now if both the transformer secondary side voltage is being like rather secondary side voltages, here it is the same voltage and is being kept constant by your 500 volt source. So what you can expect, that through this transformer one current will obviously flow, like this source will act as a source and this source will act as a sink, and this transformer will act as a something that will try to transfer power from this to this source. That's okay, that's understandable. But if you consider the other one, like this transformer, this will act as a purely floating transformer. If you remove this one, then what would happen? Like here, this will try to maintain, understand this. If this load are not connected, only you are having this kind of parallel combination, you will have this will try to maintain 510 volt, and this will try to maintain 500 volt. So, in a combination, a circulating current will flow through this, so that the nature of that circulating current would be such that it could strengthen the magnetic flux in that second transformer to cause a rise in its voltage. So, and demagnetizing effect on the first transformer. So, the first transformer voltage goes down and second transformer voltage goes up, and eventually we reach a steady state condition, means amicable equilibrium, where neither the first one is giving 510 nor the second one is giving 500, but voltage that is in between these two, and that voltage will be decided by the amount of circulating current and the rating of the transformers. That is it. But when you just connect this source here, then there is no scope of circulating current for flowing through this transformer. Only one transformer will carry current to power up this source, or to in terms of voltage source, to like build up voltage in this source, and the other second transformer that will act as a floating transformer, and it will not work, right. Okay. So, this is another very interesting problem. First, read the problem carefully. 120 kVA, 240 by 480 volts single phase transformer, reactance drop 4%, resistance drop 3%. There is another transformer 40 kVA, 240 by 480 volt single phase transformer with reactance drop 9%, resistance drop 12%. So, all these are in per unit value, and it would be always be a good choice to convert them in a single value. So, let us consider 120 to be our base kVA, and as both of the transformers are having identical voltage rating. So, if I want to convert the second transformer impedance to first in this base value, then it would become something like 9 by it will be like and what about this is ZE2, what about ZE1? ZE1 is 0.03 plus J 0.04. So, clearly both of them are having same magnitude, only angle is different. This one is somewhat like how much it will give us. It is 36.86. Perhaps this should become the like 90 minus this value. Just let me check. Yeah, this angle is 53.13. Now, in order to solve this problem, what we need to do is that we need to draw the phasor diagram. So, let me just draw the phasor diagram for this. So, these are the data. So, let me draw the phasor diagram. How it would look like? We are having V2. V2 is a common voltage, and from that V2 both the transformers are carrying their or what we can do is that we can directly draw V1 A1. See here, interestingly, both the transformer A1 and A2 are equal. Moreover, the transformers like impedance are also equal. So what we can say that if this is our V2, it is very clear that I1 and I2 will not be in phase. If this is our I1, that is at 36.56 degree, I2 will lag behind 53.13 degree. However, the interesting fact here is that when you consider this I1 Z1, so this will form it like this. Forgot what happened. While for I2 you will have things like pardon me, for I2, yeah, so for I2 it's smaller, and this one is bigger, right? So interesting things here is that although let me draw it separately, then you can understand it clearly. This is for I2. This is for I1. Clearly, the hypotenuse of both the right angle triangle coincide or a collinear phasor. So, interestingly, what we will be getting here is the same thing. This is VZ1. Similarly, if you see, this is VZ2. Although we are not able to utilize the maximum kVA output that could be extracted from this transformer because XR ratio of these two transformers are different. That is why the currents are not in phase, and that is why we are having this problem. But if we consider the equivalent circuit, we can draw it like this. JD1. Here we are having V1 by A1, and then here we are having V1 by A2 and JD2 here. Now this is VZ1, this is VZ2. Clearly, VZ1 and VZ2 both are equal in magnitude, and this is our V2. So, the drop across these two series branch VZ1 and VZ2 is 0. and you are free to take logical approximation, means you have to discard the information regarding your current branch, right. Now go to the next problem. So here two type of things we can have is that one is step down transformer with that is a two winding transformer connected to step down transformer, and another one is that a variable tapping step down transformer, step down auto transformer. So in case of variable tapping step down auto transformer, it should be in that mode where you are having full setting of your variac. Like if you have it like this, when you are delivering power almost in this way, then you can ensure maximum like efficiency, and that is no surprise. And also in case of your fixed winding, we have already discussed, and what we discussed, that in case of a fixed winding, a step down auto transformer, it should be like this. Should be connected in such a manner that it can deliver our maximum amount of the output, and that is only possible when it is operating in this like in the mode of our like maximum operate means efficiency, like maximum kVA mode. See, in case of you are converting a two winding transformer to an auto transformer, the loss remains same. Now it depends on you. If you can connect it to realize maximum kVA, then obviously the efficiency will become or there will be an improvement in efficiency. Why? Because when you convert an auto transformer, sorry, a two winding transformer to an auto transformer, this is say kVA into cos theta, kVA cos theta plus losses. Now these losses for two winding and auto transformer remain same. Now only this kVA cos theta that you can vary, and if you want to make it maximum, then you will get it. So while discussing this, how much kVA could be could be drawn, or we could get it from this auto transformer. The idea is very simple, that we have to use this one, the high voltage winding, as our output terminal. So we will have maximum amount of conduction kVA and minimum amount of induction kVA. So we can always get the maximum efficiency, provided the ratio of conduction kVA and induction kVA for a given configuration is maximum. That is the key point of finding out the maximum efficiency. Well, so this was the question. Has an initial kVA rating of 10 kVA, find out the kVA rating of the transformer. Here, unlike the common case, this was the problem which I made some mistake and had to change it. So here this question was incorrectly means the diagram was incorrect in your second exam. However, here I have corrected it and shared the right diagram. Now we have to figure it out. Unlike the common case, here the transformers are connected in subtractive polarity. Like you can see that the output will also have 250 volt. Now what about the kVA rating would be. Here it is clear that the output voltage, the input voltage will be how much? The input will be like, if you analyze, you will see that so basically here how much you will get? It is 250 volt. Why? Because this is 500 volt, this is 250 volt acting in opposite direction, unlike the common cases where we consider the polarity. Now in full load condition, what this would do? This would draw a 40 ampere one. Now if it draw 40 ampere, then how much it could deliver here? It is 20 ampere at max. Now see, the output kVA becomes 5. Isn't it very surprising that the input kVA, what was there, now it has become something like the input even couldn't draw much, it becomes like but another thing, if you see from this side, it will give you 250 into 40, that is 10 kV. So the beauty of this question is that which one is correct? Like the input and output, the kVA must be same. We can't have different kVA consumed by input and different kVA delivered by output. Isn't so? Then where we made a mistake, or have we overlooked something that should be considered here? Because if I am not I do not want to like over like how to say that, if I don't want to, okay, for your information, if we consider the normal case, when it is 750, then also it was 20, then it was 40, and how we consider it, it is not actually 40, it at that time becomes how much? At that time it becomes 60, because at that time what happened, the current that is flowing in this direction and this direction are two different current. Now here the question comes that here when it is 20, what happened actually? Who is correct? Like this 10 kV is correct, this 5 kV is correct, or which one is correct? We have to figure it out. I am not going to give you the immediate solution, rather I have downloaded your favorite book, the book of B.L. Theresia, Electrical Technology Volume 2, and as per this book, page number which one? Yeah, this is page number, just a minute. Yeah, the page number is 333. So page number 333, you can download this book. This is available in internet, and it is one of your favorite book. It's like it has become a staple, like you people, staple food for getting easy concept. So I'm talking about figure 32.63. Figure 32.63, question number C. So I wish if any one of you have been watching these videos till this end, try to download this book, try to figure out this solution, right?